What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be doing a UFC men's championship tier list. Now there's going to be a lot of guys on this list where you might disagree with. Honestly, looking at all these champions right now, I had to go in here and fix some of them. Leon Edwards, obviously not the champion, but this one wasn't as updated as I would have hoped. But we have all the current champions right here. So we're going to be going S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and F tier. Now, I'm not ranking the fighters as fighters themselves. I mean, that will obviously play a little into this, but mostly ranking them as champions. And I want to get that out of the way, obviously, considering that we kind of all know where Jon Jones is going to go. And his ranking isn't going to be as a fighter, but it's going to be as a champion. So, with that being said, we're going to start off with Pantoja, who has 2 title defenses. He won his title July 8th, 2023, and obviously winning that title over Brandon Moreno. And looking at him right now, his last defense against Usyk, some saying that Usyk may have won that fight. It was really close in the end. So I saw a little bit from both sides. I could understand, but it is interesting to look at kind of Usyk's, not downfall. I don't want to say that he's completely out of it now, but almost winning that fight and then kind of losing it in the 5th round. It was 2-2, very even going into that final round. And then just getting knocked out in the 1st round just a few weeks ago at this point. I believe just a week ago as of this recording. And Pantoja, you know, he's a good champion. Yes, he's a decision guy in all his championship fights so far. Yes, he has some finishes before. Royval, he finished him the first time that they fought. His last time as champion, he's had 3 straight decision fights. So not the most exciting, but he went out there, he's defended the belt twice, won both of those fights. So I am going to give him an A tier for now. Next up, Sean O'Malley won his belt over Aljamain Sterling, won title defense against Chito Vera, and he has another fight upcoming just within a few weeks as of this recording right now at the Sphere against Merab, and that's going to be an interesting fight. A video on Merab coming soon as well. I do think Sean O'Malley is going to go out there and win that fight, but as of right now, he only has 1 title defense. Yes, he knocked out Aljamain Sterling in that fight, a fantastic knockout. Going into that fight, I had O'Malley winning. He was a pretty big underdog at over plus 200, depending on where you were looking. And he went in there, he got the job done at the end of the day. Couldn't knock out Chito Vera, but at the time of that fight, no one had. He did say that he knocked him down whenever it was, I believe in the 2nd round, but you know, Chito said that maybe he slipped, but he did take a knee, so I don't know. Since then, obviously, Chito has been knocked down, so. But as of this fight, Sean O'Malley knocked him down for what seemed like the first time in his career. A good champion. I mean, he fought in March and he's going to be fighting in September. So 2 fights this year as champion since winning in August. Just about a year ago, he's had 1 title defense, about to have 2 within just a little bit over a year in 13 months, which for a champion right now, besides some outliers, that seems like a pretty good pace. A lot of these champions only fighting once. So as of right now, I'm going to put him in the B tier because he only has 1 title defense, and I'm not exactly sure where he's going to end up in his next fight. A very close fight up in the air. He's the underdog. I do think he's going to win as of right now, but who knows? He could lose that fight. So for now, I think it's fair to keep him there. Next up, we have Ilia Topuria, who won the belt earlier this year against Alexander Volkanovski. And he's going to be having a title defense before the end of this year as well. A lot of people saying he's an inactive champion, winning that belt in February and now finally getting his fight. But like we've seen so far, a lot of these champions don't really have as many title defenses. It seems like champions just don't want to defend their belts nowadays. We're not getting cards where we get multiple championship fights anymore, it seems like. We're getting a lot of high-end fights with some lower level guys in the rankings. I mean, we're seeing a lot of top 10, top 5 fights nowadays because there's just not as many championship fights. We don't see these champions going out as often, which I guess makes sense since these belts have been moving a lot within the past 2 years, looking at the champions 2 years ago and how much it's changed since then, even a year ago from today. So no title defenses yet. He did knock out Volk earlier in this year, but he does have one coming up soon against Max Holloway. An interesting one. For now, I am going to give him the C tier because he has no title defenses. He won it in a very entertaining fight, knocking out Volkanovski. And he does have a fight scheduled as of this recording. So I'm not going to give him an F because he is at least going to get a title defense within the same year of him winning the belt. So I'll give him a C tier for now. Islam Makhachev, I got to give him an S tier. I mean, this guy won his belt in 2022 over Charles Oliveira. He's had 3 defenses since then, since 2022. So just a little over 1 a year at this point. Yes, he has been going out there and he's been almost dominating every single fight at this point. I mean, people obviously comparing him to some of the all-time greats now. That first fight against Volk, some people had it up in the air. I know a lot of people believe that Volk may have won that fight, but coming into the second fight, he did go out there and knock him out, and then finishing Poirier in the 5th round as well. So, I mean, these 3 fights right here, 3 great fights, 3 great title defenses. This, the fight of the year, in my opinion, the first fight, a fantastic fight, and then goes out there and finishes business in the second fight. Yes, obviously, it wasn't built up as much because there was less time for Volk going into the fight, but at the end of the day, he still knocked him out. And against Poirier, Poirier proved that he was tough, but Islam still did get that finish in the end, so he didn't go to decision like he did in his first fight against Volk. And since then, he has finished all these title fights, finishing Oliveira. This is the only one going to decision. So I am going to give him S tier because he has dominated as champion. Yes, some people say, like I said, he might have lost that first fight against Volk, but either way, it was still a fantastic performance. And some people may say, oh, well, he hasn't really fought a 155er yet. He hasn't really defended the belt because Volk was 2 of those title defenses. I mean, Volk, clearly, he was the number 1 pound for pound guy. So if there's any guy to defend your belt against, if they're going up a weight class, it's going to be him. So 2 great wins, in my opinion, also with Dustin Poirier here. So, I mean, I got to give him an S tier, especially when we're looking at the champions nowadays. Islam has been, at least he's gone out there. He's had 2 defenses in 2023. So good for him. So we are going to put him in the S tier. Next up, Belal Muhammad. There's nothing that I can really say about him right now because he just won the belt against Leon Edwards, so I don't really know exactly where to put him in this title picture as of right now. I guess we can put him in the C tier. It wasn't a very exciting fight in my opinion. I mean, he did go out there and kind of dominate Leon Edwards, which was surprising, but did go to decision, kind of how we all expected the fight to go. Maybe not the winner, but I think a lot of people expected this to be a decision fight, whether you picked Leon or whether you picked Belal Muhammad to win. But for now, I mean, I guess I got to put him in the C tier because it seems like he's eager to have a championship fight. It seems like he wants to go out there and fight Shavkat next. So as long as he wants to fight within the next few months, maybe not few months, but within the next 6 to 8 months, I think that's fine. Put him in the C tier. Same with Ilya. He does deserve some time off, obviously, just winning the belt. So next up, we have DDP. I'm going to put him in the A tier. This may be a little controversial, but he's gone out there in these fights. He just defeated Israel Adesanya in the 4th round. He finished him. He won the belt against Sean Strickland. Between this time, January to August, that's 6 months, I believe, if my math is right. I could also be wrong. 6-7 months. Either way, he went out there and he defended his belt as well. And it seems like he's eager to go out there and get this next fight against Sean Strickland again. And some people may say, like with a lot of these championship fights and these championship fighters so far that we've seen, he has gone out there and maybe you'll say Strickland won that first fight, but it seems like he wants to get that fight out and go and kind of redeem himself. I guess he did win the fight, but maybe go out there and finish Strickland just to kind of put a pin in it and kind of end that rivalry that we've seen. But in his first title defense, going out there and beating Adesanya, one of the best in the weight class and one of the best all time that we've seen. I don't like Izzy personally, but I mean, I can't deny his greatness. So yes, it may be a little bit older version of Izzy, but he still went out there and beat him in the 4th round in a fight that was pretty close. DDP was up on the scorecards, but I mean, who knows how it would have ended either way if we had 2 more rounds of that, but DDP went out there and he finished them. I'm going to keep him up here. I'll move him down to, it's weird because do I think he's in the same tier as Sean O'Malley, both having 1 title defense, 1 against Chito Vera where he couldn't finish him, and then 1 against, I'll put him in the A tier. I feel like that's fair because comparing this to as well, 2 title defenses, yes, is good, but I don't know, very close against Steve Erceg as well. Maybe that's just a little bit of hate towards, I don't know. I think that's fine for now. I'll leave DDP in the A tier. You guys can let me know down below, but next up, Alex Pereira, S tier. I feel like this one's easy. I mean, this guy has gone out there and he won the belt in late 2023. It's August of 2024. He already has 2 title defenses. He's already going to have 3 title defenses within a year of him winning the belt, which is unheard of. I mean, we're looking at all these guys right now. He's going to have the same amount of title defenses that Islam has had since 2022 of October. He's going to have 3 in less than a year. So Alex Pereira, I mean, gone out there, he has dominated so far, knocking out Yuri. Almost knocked him out in the first round, but he did finish him in the second round as well, knocking him out as well here to win the belt, and obviously knocking out Jamal Hill pretty easily on UFC 300. I think it's a pretty easy spot to put him there. John Jones is F tier. This is what I was alluding to before. I don't think there's very much controversy about this. John Jones, I love him as a fighter. The best fighter in UFC history of all time. I know Dana White has said that he's the greatest fighter of all time. Yes, he went out there, he beat Cyril Gane in March of 2023. He hasn't defended the belt since then. I know he got hurt, but I mean, once again, he should have gone out there, and maybe it would be different if he wasn't going to be defending the belt against Stipe, but I can't put him any higher than an F tier because he doesn't deserve to be higher than an F tier. Like I said, I'm not ranking the fighter, I'm ranking them as a champion, and he's an F tier champion right now. Even though I still love John Jones, F tier champion. Next up, Tom Aspinall, the final one, the interim heavyweight champion. He went out there and defended the belt against Curtis Blades, finished him in a minute. Pretty easy fight for him as well. Went out there and beat Pavlovich for the belt in the first place. As an interim champion, I mean, I could give him a C tier, I could give him a B tier either way because technically this belt isn't real, but I mean, he's out there, he's the defending heavyweight champion as of right now. He won that belt in November, the same time that Pereira won, came out there just 6, 7, 8 months later, whatever it is, in July, and defended that belt against Curtis Blades. And I'm guessing he'll be stripped once John Jones goes in for that fight against Stipe. I would like to see him fight against John Jones. I think pretty much everyone would at this point, but we'll see if it actually happens. Let me know down below what you guys think. I'm sure some of you guys will have a different ranking here than me. A lot of these guys haven't defended their belt yet, so I'm not really sure exactly where to put them. But after their next title defenses, I mean, we could have a few new guys on this list by the next time I do this. Probably do it around December, just to make it a little more interesting when we have more of these title fights through. I'm sure at this point a good amount of guys on this will have defended their belt by then, so it'll be a little more interesting. Let me know down below what you guys disagree with, what you agree with, and I'll see you guys in the next one.